Reacher is already set up to deliver a wildly different Season 3. 2025 can't get here fast enough. The new year will bring a brand new season of the acclaimed smash hit television series, Reacher. Season 3 looks exciting for so many reasons, and it stands to be the most unique season yet for the action-packed series. For starters, it's set to adapt author Lee Child's book, Persuader, which is written in the first person and could point to a more personal tone for the series. Not to mention, Season 3 contains multiple other exciting factors that will raise the stakes and make it the show's most palpable, heart-stopping installment ever. It's time to take a deeper dive into why Season 3 could be Reacher's most unique chapter yet. Reacher Season 3's source material lends itself to a more cerebral narrative. Season 2 of Reacher was not bad by any means, but it took things in a different direction with its expanded supporting cast. Maria Sten returned as Frances Neagley, one of Reacher's longtime allies, but was upgraded to a series regular in Season 2. Additionally, Jack Reacher's Alan Ritchson team expanded with the likes of his old 110th Special Investigations Unit subordinates, among them David O'Donnell, Sean Sipos, and Carla Dixon, Serene DeSwan. That format gave Season 2 a different dynamic from Season 1, which felt more intimate and focused with a tighter perspective on Reacher, and to a lesser extent, Roscoe Conklin, Willa Fitzgerald, and Oscar Finley, Malcolm Goodwin. Part of the reason for the change stems from the fact that Child wrote the book Bad Luck and Trouble, which served as the basis for Season 2, from a third-person perspective in contrast to the first-person perspective of the killing floor. The expanded cast in Bad Luck and Trouble certainly called for a wider third-person narrative, evident in the broader scope of Season 2. Child likes to sometimes switch perspectives for his Jack Reacher books, and Persuader is another novel he wrote in the first person. That narrative, coupled with the premise for Season 3, which will see Reacher going undercover as part of an operation by the Drug Enforcement Agency, D, suggests that the next season will have a more intimate style. Reacher will be pitted behind enemy lines without his allies to step in at a moment's notice. Reacher's undercover assignment, combined with adapting the novel's first-person point of view, lends itself to a more introspective, character-focused drama in Season 3, and we can't be more excited about that. Reacher Season 3 will have a fresh setting and premise. The benefit of each season of Reacher adapting a single book of Child's Jack Reacher saga means that the format, setting, and central mystery will switch things up again in Season 3. Season 1 was largely set in the sweltering heat of the fictional rural Georgia town of Margrave. Season 2 took place during the wintertime, with Reacher and his team largely in and around New York City, as well as pit stops in Atlantic City and Denver. The new season brings Reacher to the coastal region of Maine, which provides another new locale for the show. Plus, the premise of Season 3 presents a unique conflict for the eponymous hero. Season 3 marks the first time audiences will see Reacher taking part in an official undercover assignment during the series. Reacher has briefly assumed false identities throughout the series, but this is a completely brand new scenario. Season 3 will be the first time audiences will see Reacher taking part in an undercover operation as part of the main ongoing plot. It will also be the first time in the television series that Reacher formally partners with a federal agency to bring down a crime ring, another interesting wrinkle for Season 3. Even during his time in the military, Reacher often butted heads with authority, so it will be interesting to see how he interacts with the agents in charge of his operation. Amazon Prime's Reacher has quickly garnered a dedicated fan base thanks to its gritty action, sharp storytelling, and a towering lead performance by Alan Ritchson as Jack Reacher. With 2 seasons under its belt, the show has consistently drawn praise for staying true to the essence of Lee Child's best-selling novels while carving its own identity in the crowded landscape of crime thrillers. But as Season 2 comes to a close, the stage is set for a significantly different experience in Season 3. The reasons for this shift are multifaceted, stemming from narrative changes, character development, and fresh thematic challenges that will propel Reacher into uncharted territory. A new direction in storytelling. The first 2 seasons of Reacher closely adapted specific novels from Child series. Season 1 was based on Killing Floor, the first Reacher book, which introduced audiences to the lone wolf's brutal, no-nonsense style of justice. Season 2 took a leap ahead to the 11th book, Bad Luck and Trouble, focusing on Reacher's past as a military policeman and reuniting him with his former comrades in a high-stakes conspiracy. Each season maintained a familiar procedural rhythm. Reacher stumbles into trouble, unveils corruption or crime, and systematically takes down anyone in his way. However, Season 3 is poised to break from this mold. For one, the show is unlikely to follow the same formula of jumping between random books. There's speculation that Season 3 may tackle one of the more complex entries in the series, like The Enemy or 61 Hours, both of which offer richer character-driven arcs and deeper personal stakes. Such a move would push the narrative beyond Reacher's episodic style of justice and into a longer, more intricate plotline. This means that viewers can expect less of a self-contained, episodic feel and more of a serialized drama that digs into Reacher's psyche and backstory. The evolution of Jack Reacher. Alan Ritchson's portrayal of Reacher has been nothing short of magnetic. His physicality, towering presence, and deadpan humor perfectly capture the essence of the character from the books. In Season 1, we were introduced to a man who operates by his own moral code, unflinchingly violent yet governed by a strict sense of justice. In Season 2, we saw the layers peel back as his loyalty to his old team and his military past took center stage, revealing a more emotionally vulnerable side to the usually stoic character. Season 3 is set to push Reacher even further emotionally and psychologically. With each novel, Child delves a little deeper into Reacher's past, his internal demons, and the scars left by his nomadic, often solitary lifestyle. In 61 Hours, for instance, Reacher faces intense moral dilemmas that question his role as a hero or vigilante. A season focusing on such themes would significantly shake up how audiences view Reacher, presenting him as more than just an indestructible force of nature, but as a deeply flawed and introspective individual. This evolution will also be driven by new characters who challenge Reacher in unexpected ways. In Season 2, his bond with his old military unit revealed a more vulnerable side, but Season 3 could introduce more personal stakes, perhaps a love interest, an old nemesis, or a mentor figure who complicates Reacher's worldview. These relationships will force Reacher to rethink his solitary lifestyle and his brutal methods of justice, leading to a more introspective and conflicted protagonist. Fresh locations and settings. Another major shift for Season 3 lies in its setting. Both previous seasons have played with location, placing Reacher in small towns or urban environments that reflect the themes of each narrative. Season 1's Margrave was a sleepy southern town hiding dark secrets, while Season 2's sprawling Los Angeles backdrop was a hotbed of corporate corruption and military intrigue. Season 3 could throw Reacher into a completely different kind of environment, perhaps an icy, remote outpost, as in 61 Hours, where the stakes are not just criminal but existential, forcing Reacher to deal with extreme physical conditions as well as moral ambiguity. A change in setting could also bring a fresh visual style to the show. Whereas previous seasons relied on a gritty, grounded aesthetic, Season 3 could experiment with more atmospheric, almost noir-like elements if it adopts the frozen, isolated landscapes of some of Child's novels. This would add a new layer of tension and suspense to Reacher's typically direct, action-packed style, creating a more claustrophobic and psychological season. New threats and challenges. One of the key elements that make Reacher so compelling is the variety of villains Reacher faces. From corrupt,